Alright, in the last video, we went ahead and went through the schedule of every AFC East team. If you haven't seen that, it's up on the channel. I'll have it linked down below. Um, Basically, you have the instant spoilers right in front of you. These are how these teams ranked out. Now we're gonna go ahead and move on to the NFC East, a much more interesting um, division than it has been in previous years, and here is why. Week one against the Giants. Now, the Cowboys, they haven't done anything too specific to ramp up their defense. While we have heard that, Jerry Jones is in talks with someone to make a trade, do we know that it'll even be helpful? Not really. I think that Quentin Williams is great, but this defense has proven to be pretty atrocious. The New York Giants, though, are under a whole new regime. I could very easily see this being a shootout, but could very easily also see the Cowboys winning this game by far. And because of that, I'm going to give them the edge in the week one matchup where the Giants may still be adapting. Though I think it will be a close game just because of that divisional matchup. Moving on to the Commanders. If all things go well, Jaden Daniels is playing. The defense gets younger, the team gets a little bit younger, but I still don't see any great receiving options for Jaden Daniels here. Terry McLaurin, while being a great receiver, it's going to be pretty easy to play single, even double coverage, zone coverages on Terry McLaurin. If you don't have a very strong secondary receiver, their run game isn't very solid yet. While I do expect they'll have a better receiving core by then, for now, I'm going to take the Cowboys. For the Ravens in this game, I think they match up too well here. This is going to be a shootout for the ages. This could be one of the 35-35, 40-40 games. I'm going to take the Ravens in this one just because I think that Lamar is going to come back this year with a little bit more of a vengeance. That Ravens offense looks a lot better. Having the upgrade in a defensive-minded head coach, we'll see exactly what happens here for the Ravens, but I'm going to take the Cowboys in this scenario. I'm going to take the Cowboys in a loss in this scenario. The Battle of Texas happens every year. The Cowboys versus the Texans. If I'm going to be very honest here, the Texans are looking like a sneaky favorite so far in the way that I've been thinking about this team defensively. And while I don't think that their offense is spectacular, this Dallas Cowboys offense or defense is so poor. I think that you could see Woody Marks and Dave Montgomery going off for some pretty solid runs here, as well as Nico Collins torching them, while at the same time this Texans defense is just so strong that I don't think Dak is going to have a fun time. I'm going to say back-to-back losses here. The Buccaneers at this current moment of time, the we know that Vita Vea is on a trade request. Will it go through? Will he just get paid? Will Baker Mayfield? It looks like that Baker Mayfield will be playing this season as well. I'm gonna take the Cowboys to win this, and I don't think it's necessarily that close. Now, the big thing here, we know that Kraft isn't going to be back here. We're seeing that Micah Parsons is supposed to come back around this time. It would be really funny if they brought him back against the Cowboys, but I do think that he's not going to have the same kind of impact coming off the ACL. Obviously, it would be his first game back. He'd probably be playing limited reps. This is going to be the first game where I think the Packers will drop with Micah Parsons playing. I don't think it's going to affect them later on. As you can tell, their record is pretty good so far. But so far, looks like that. The Eagles is going to be an interesting matchup. I honestly think that this is going to be a home split where the Eagles will take it on their turf, and when the Cowboys play them again, they will take them on their own home turf here. So, even split, I think these are two very solid teams all around. I do think that if this Eagles offense can figure it out, they're one of the best teams in the league. But we'll have to see exactly what happens there. The Cardinals, we've kind of talked a little bit about them. They're not a team to be too scared about. So far, through 9 games, we have them at 6-3. Another thing to note, super late bye week here. So, will be a little bit of a problem for the Cowboys if they get these burnout games towards the end, especially playing the Eagles and the Seahawks back to back before the bye, and then coming off and playing the Rams, Jags. Not a fun look. Now, the Colts. The Colts are probably going to be a stronger team. Alec Pierce will probably be playing here. Their offensive line so far is projecting to be a lot worse than it was in previous years. We may not see as much from Jonathan Taylor. And I don't know if that defense can really contain the offensive firepower that we have in the Dallas Cowboys offense. So I'm going to give Dallas a win here. Against the Niners, don't take this as me being a 49er fan. But I think if the Niners are healthy into week 10, it's not even close. That offense is going to put up like 50 points against this Dallas Cowboys defense. And maybe Dak will put up some points, but at the end of the day, it's not going to be pretty. The Titans here. While the Titans, I think, are a better team than they were last year, they're not going to make any big splashes here against the Cowboys. I'm going to take the Titans for a quick loss. And so far, the Cowboys are 8-4, playing the Seahawks, defending champions, really strong defense, not getting many pass yards, really strong offense with JSN. I don't see much happening here for the Cowboys. After the bye week, they play the Rams immediately. Again, I think the Rams are one of the best teams in the league. Gonna take the Rams here. The Jaguars here. Now, this is an interesting game. This will be towards a playoff push, and we'll obviously see how this may flip later on. Obviously, I will flip games if there is large-scale news to be made. For instance, if this Vita Vea trade goes through, I will go back, go through the Raiders games, and do some revisionist history, seeing exactly what I did before, and changing them accordingly. But as of now, the Jaguars, their offensive line is supposed to be a lot worse. They kind of ran hot. I'm going to say it. I don't think that they're as good as people think that they will be. I think that Trevor Lawrence had a streak where he put it all together, and the team around him is just so good. Without as good of an offensive line, we'll really see what we can do here for the Jags, but I don't think they're beating this Cowboys team. And against the Giants, while the Giants should be settled in here, I think the Cowboys are going to be making their final look at a playoff push. I don't think the Giants are going to have too much of an opportunity. While it has been a very strong offseason for them, I just don't think they're there yet to be competing at this level. And we'll see exactly what happens with this Commanders game. If it matters or not, I'm just going to hold off on judging that until we get to the end, because I think if the Cowboys have to play this game, they will probably win it. But if the Cowboys don't have to play this game, I could see the Commanders winning it. Now, I think the Eagles are probably the best team in this division. The Commanders, while a very solid team, just not as good as the Eagles. I'm going to take the Eagles right there. Oh, it's doing it by percentages. The Titans, 1-1 again. Very simple. They're a great team this year, not as good as the Eagles. Now the Bears. The Bears are quite scary here. That Bears offense is very good. The big thing here will be, can this Eagles offense now show that they are actually a good unit and they were being held back by their offensive coaching last year? Can Jalen Hurts prove himself to be the player that, he is portraying himself to be? Not exactly sure if he can do that, but I think in this game against the Bears, I don't really see them winning, because right now I think that Caleb Williams is playing with a lot behind his shoulders, but he has a better offensive weapon around him. He has a better offensive, or I would say about a close offensive line with a better two-headed rushing attack. I don't know if Saquon is going to be as effective. He's never been much of a pass catcher, but he's definitely not much of a runner anymore. That offensive line isn't the same as it used to be. No A.J. Brown. Maybe Mekhi Lemon, Devonta Smith are the replacement, but I'm going to give them a loss here. Currently, the Bears are 5-0, so pretty crazy stuff there. Versus the Rams, same kind of thing. I think this can be a close game. I just don't think the offense is strong enough against that very strong Rams defense. I think they're going to have a lot of problems. I don't think the tush push is going to work against, God forbid, Aaron Donald comes back. But even if Aaron Donald doesn't come back, Vita Vea is in the running to be on that defensive line. And I think, just in general, Fisk, I think, is on that line, and he's a very solid defensive tackle. So I'm going to take the Rams here. The Jaguars, the same kind of thing here as I talked about with the Cowboys. I think that they ran a little bit hot. I don't think their defense can contain the overall attack that we have from the Eagles, while I don't project it to be as strong as we projected 2 years ago, maybe. I think that it will be definitely a lot better than it was last year, and I don't think the Jags defense is going to be able to handle that. It's always hard picking these Panthers games. Panthers, you never know what weeks they'll turn it on, what weeks they won't. I think a good Jonathan Brooks with that offensive line can be very solid. I just do think that the Eagles' offensive firepower and defensive power against the Panthers should take it home. Matchup number 2 against the Commanders, gonna be a big one here. I don't want to think that Jaden Daniels is going to lose all of them. I think he's going to be settled in by now. I think that since it is a division game, being played at the Commanders, the main thing here is that they don't have much of a defense, but I don't think that the Eagles have much of an offense, where I can see the Commanders coming out with a win at home. So I'm going to mark that down here. We're at 5-4 so far. Now we have the Giants. I think that this is going to be a clear win so far. I don't think the Giants are really ready to compete against the big boys yet. The Steelers. The Pennsylvania matchup. O-line's supposed to regress. Aaron Rodgers is another year older. While they did add Michael Pittman, I don't know how useful he's going to be in that offense. Joey Porter just hit, not IR, he just hit the PUP list a bunch of, or I think he may be out for a while due to a knee injury he suffered during training camp. So I'm going to take the Eagles over the Steelers here. Cardinals, not going to make a big talk about this. The Cardinals aren't winning that. It is brutal that the Cardinals even have to play the Eagles. The Colts. Yeah, I just don't think that the Colts are going to be as strong as they were last year, while their defense may be able to hold back, and I think this will be a pretty strong defensive game. I will give the slight edge to the offense of the Eagles and give them that win there. So, looking pretty solid so far. Against the Seahawks, I'm going to take the Seahawks because I think that defense is just insane, and that offense is just going to be hard to contain. It's going to be hard to contain Jadarian Price, Zach Charbonnet, and JSN. The Texans, I'm also going to mark this down as a loss. Again, I think they're one of the best teams in the league. Currently, this team is going to have a suffocating defense, and I don't think that Jalen Hurts is going to do well against that. While he's a person who doesn't turn the ball over much, I don't think he's going to be able to make great reads there. So even if he's not turning over the ball a lot, we may see a lot of 3-and-outs. This one is going to pain my heart. I don't think that, one, there's any way the 49ers make it a Week 17 fully healthy, and two, that our defense in its current state with its current coordinator is going to be anywhere near the level of the Eagles defense. While I think the Eagles offense is worse, I think that the 49ers offense is really good, but it might not be enough here. I'm going to give them this, and hopefully I can go back and revise this as different. But I think we're equal here at 10-6 each. Okay, this game is going to matter. Given that this game matters, and I don't think the Commanders are... You know what? I'm going to bring the Commanders up and see if they matter here. So far, the Giants don't, so... Commanders versus Seahawks, same kind of thing. I don't think the Seahawks are losing to the Commanders. Starting 0-3 is very brutal. Um, Against the Colts, while I don't think that this offensive line is the same, I just really don't believe too much in this offense. While I do think that Jaden Daniels can commit to miracles, I think that he doesn't have as great of a team around him as he once did. I think they could really use a Debo Samuel back in this offense, and obviously a lot of this will change if they can sign a solid wide receiver too, but they just haven't done that yet. They haven't made any trades. They haven't done anything that really makes me intrigued. Their run game is pretty lackluster. Chris Rodriguez and JCM are not very appealing. Antonio Williams is your wide receiver too, and otherwise we're talking about the tight end whose name I can't even remember. Is it Chigunkonkwo probably? Um, like again, like not a very strong talent. The only reason that he even gets drafted in some drafts is because of the fact that there's literally no other competition here. But yeah, against the Giants, I think that this is going to be a split where they're going to take the win at home and the loss here. So they're going to start the season off 1-4. Um, Playing the 49ers early on, especially, is horrible. I think the avoiding the injured 49ers, taking a quick L there. So heading into the bye 1-5, I do think that they have the opportunity to make things different. They will get a home game against the Eagles, which I am giving them, but I do think they're going to lose to the Rams right after. And the difficulty of the schedule is just perplexing to me. While it does calm down towards the end here, this is not looking good for Jaden Daniels and friends. I have a very strong feeling that if Jaden Daniels makes it to week 9, he's not making it past week 9. Um, I have them splitting the Giants game. Now we're on to the Bengals. If Joe Burrow is playing, I'll take the Bengals because I think that offense is just going to put up so many points, and it may be a larger scoring game, but I just think that offense will do better, and they have a stronger defense now. I don't think that Ja'Cory Cross-Gamere or Chris Rodriguez are good enough to really. Oh, Chris Rodriguez is in Jacksonville now. All right, after going back and checking, it is Rashad White. While the dude never loses yardage, he only gains like 1 yard. So yeah, I don't see either of them being very appealing against the Bengals here. Um, in this Dexter Lawrence defense, I don't think Jaden Daniels with his weapons is out throwing for what Jamar Chase and T. Higgins have. So I'm going to take this as another loss. It doesn't look like the Commanders are going to be competitive this year. The Cardinals, easy win. Titans, easy win. Texans, I'm going to mark that down for another loss here. The Falcons is a team that we haven't talked about yet. We'll see exactly what happens with them. Obviously, the coaching change, but starting Tua is never that appealing. If Michael Penix is playing by week 15, which is possible, he's not very appealing of a quarterback either. I'm going to take a very, very quick win for Jaden Daniels here. Against the Vikings, same thing. I think that defense is just suffocating, and I think that the Vikings will actually take this win. And people may be surprised by that, but I don't think. Again, it may feel like I'm not giving the Commanders credit, but I really do think that that year where they made the conference, not the conference, the not the Eastern Conference Finals, sorry, the AFC Finals, um, they've significantly overperformed that year, significantly, and it wasn't even close. So they're not going to be competitive here. I think the Jaguars will win this game, as I think they may be in the realm of a playoff push. Going 5-11 and seeing it, how it will matter to the Cowboys, they will definitely go through and win that game here. Going back to or we can just get this as we go through the Giants here. This is a brutal schedule for the Giants. Starting off Cowboys, Rams, tough start. You get the Titans and the Cardinals, which I think that while the Giants aren't a great team, I think they're a better team than both these teams over here. Commanders, I mark that down as a loss. Against the Saints, now I think that you have the opportunity of the Saints being really strong this year, but at the same time, it's the same kind of upside that the New York Giants are hoping for. They have a exciting younger, I won't say Tyler Shuck is young, but younger quarterback. They have a excited proving running backs. You have solid receiving cores that are both I mean, I'm not gonna say Malik Neighbors is injury prone, but he has an injury. Um, you have a pretty decent defense if they can get things figured out, but I don't think that the Giants are gonna figure this out fast enough for them to beat the Saints. So, the Texans is an automatic L here. Against the Jaguars, I also think that the Jaguars are going to be able to handle business here pretty solidly. I think that the Colts, given that Daniel Jones is definitely going to be playing here, given that Alec Pierce is definitely going to be playing here, they're going to take this. I think the 49ers are going to take this. I think the Seahawks are going to take this. The Browns definitely is an interesting game here. Um, I don't think that the Browns really stand much of a chance against this Giants team, mainly because I think that the Giants just have a better overall team, while the Browns are really just solid on defense. So I'm gonna take the Giants here. So we're up to 4 wins. This is gonna be important for the Tankathon. The Lions. I don't think that's even close. I think the Lions' offense is definitely going to be significantly better here and take over. And finally, we have the Eagles. And since it will matter for the Eagles, I think the Eagles are putting out their starters, and the New York Giants are going to go 4-13. So we take a look at the standings here and see exactly how this updated. We have the Patriots, Cowboys, and Eagles all going 11-6, with the Cowboys winning the division because of their division record. Just because I have a little bit more faith in the Cowboys beating out, the Giants twice and the Commanders twice, versus I do think that the Eagles can drop a game against the Commanders, because I have more faith in 2026 in Dak Prescott than I do in Jalen Hurts, just because of the way that these systems are always changing for the Eagles, versus I think that the Cowboys have a very understood, strong, proven system this year. But I hope you guys enjoyed. If we take a look at the playoffs currently, it's not going to be very updated. Currently, you have the Rams at the 1. The Bears Packers rematch is cinema. The Saints, obviously, I don't think are going to be a 3 seed, much less in the playoffs. But the Cowboys are here. And in this scenario, so far, the Eagles don't make it, but it's very likely that with 11 wins, they'll be a 5, maybe a 6 seed in this. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed these game pickings. We'll be moving on to the AFC North in the next one, so stay tuned, and I'll catch you guys in the next episode.